Welcome to the Outlier Trading Room. My name is Christopher Yule. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, my style of trading using Outlier is called the golden ticket trading strategy, and it starts with listening to what the market is telling us, right? So we're going to be going through the Outlier 9 here. And this is everything we need to look for to add new trades, with the market, the sector, and the stock all working in our favor. For the market, we want to see the trend, signal, and breadth all be bullish. So let's look at this. So the trend that we're looking for is the 10 over 20, price over 50. That is what I call the outlier trend template, with the 10 over the 20, price over the 50 on the market and on every stock out there. So let's go to the SPY. And we still have the 10 over 20, price over 50 here on the SPY. Too easy. We can know that from a moment's notice. Next, if we pop into Outlier, I have SPY saved as one of my favorites, so I can see if it's a buy or sell signal just right there from the home screen. Now, today we have 280 buy signals on our bull list and 134 sell signals on our bear list. And that feeds over into market breadth, which is the third component here that we're looking at. We have the trend is bullish, the signal is bullish. What about the breadth? Well, looking here inside of Outlier on the chart, scroll this over here, we can see the breadth is continuing to grow. The breadth is measuring how many stocks we have buy signals for versus how many stocks we have sell signals for. And that crossover, the red line right there, is the 10 EMA of our breadth. And you can see it is in a bullish posture right now. So the market is set up here, bullish, bullish, bullish. Next, this is everything we want to see. Next, let's shift gears a little bit and do our member highlight before we get into the sectors here. Over in our Discord, we like to hear from you in the share your big wins section. So Beams707 says, new member here, love Outlier. Took a bite out of Chipotle yesterday and sold the 54 calls at 505 and bought them back at 475. Beams, I would recommend never selling options. That breaks the golden rule of trading leverage, which is never put yourself in a position to lose more than you can win. Selling options puts you there, but I'm really happy that you were able to win that trade. Outstanding work. Let's see. Broge says, even though I took some losses recently, I now look and see the small to medium losses that I took would never have or would have been much bigger losses today. Same with the small gain in Snow following his plan. It's down bigly now. Makes me feel even better about following the plan to exit, right? Let's see. I want to share a couple of these outlier effects, right? Okay, here we go. Yesterday, so we had a couple of losing trades yesterday. Darvian says, I saw a lot of hysteria about some stocks being down. Unfortunately, that's part of the game. I'm up big on the year with Outlier. I had a plan and I closed my losers and kept my winners going, right? And so to that point, whenever you're putting on a trade, right, and it doesn't work in your account, you want to find out if you're wrong as fast as you possibly can. Meaning, if you put it on and it doesn't work, you want to get out quickly. You don't want to sit there for months and months and months hoping and praying that it comes back to break even, right? A lot of YouTubers were talking about AMD all the way back a long time in 2024 and then early 2025. And then it took them months just to get back to break even, right? Like today's price, if you had bought it in December, it would just now be back to break even. So 7 months later, 8 months later, you had to wait from December to July to be back to break even. That's not successful trading. You want to be to profit as fast as you possibly can. And then when you open your account, you should see winner, 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 because all your losers, you just throw them away. I know my plan and I execute it every day. If you position size correctly and follow a plan, and follow a down day, is nothing to worry about. He's still up 35% of the year, even with a bad day. So that is what it's done. Or that's how it's done, I should say. So of course, continue to tell me your success stories, and the way that you can pay me back is by telling everybody you know about Outlier, because the first rule of Outlier is you tell everyone you know about it. Now back to trading here. I want to look only at the exits today. So I'm going to be traveling later today and tomorrow. The market will be closed this Friday for July 4th. Thursday, it's a half day. It's going to close at I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern time. So plan on a short day for Thursday. And then today, Wednesday, I'm traveling, so I won't be able to put on any new trades. So the only thing I'm going to be doing is planning my exits. I'm going to be putting them in the Discord. We're going to work on that plan together with you. And then at the end of that, we will look for some new opportunities as if I were to be putting on some new trades, so I can help you out with that. How does that sound? All right. Now, before adding any new trades, I always look to reduce risk in my trades before adding new trades. Remember, when you're putting on a trade, don't set expectations on the outcome of the trade, right? Your expectation should be to follow your plan. Do not set any profit targets on your trade, because then you're emotionally anchoring yourself to a price that may never be hit, or it may take 7 months to be hit, just like we saw in AMD, right? I just have a plan to get out when one of my exit signals happens, right? You can follow your plan just like if you were driving from Dallas to Disney World, right? You know exactly where to get off the highway to go to the most magical place on earth. But along the way, you may have some, you might have some rain, you might have some hail. That is something that one of our Discord members mentioned yesterday, right? You can still drive from Dallas to Disneyland, but along the way, you might encounter some storms, but you know exactly where you're going to go. So first, we need to look at our market exits. The SPY is not, well, it's not right now, but remember, I'm planning this early on in the day. If something changes by the end of the day, we are going to account for that. If the SPY closes under the 20 today, it's an exit everything kind of day. I find that very unlikely to happen, but it could happen, right? Anything can happen. Next, the sector and market breadth crossovers. So let's double check the breadth crossovers here. The only sector that has bearish breadth is in energy. So that means that this will not apply today, because the all stocks market here, the market breadth is still going to be bullish. So this is unlikely. This is not going to happen. Next, we're going to go through the 4 stocks that I have on right now. All of them are exceptionally profitable. I have rolled up all of them already, but we need to make sure that we follow the plan. So first, let's open up. Let's start at the top with Morgan Stanley. This has been a big, beautiful trade right here in a big, beautiful trend. I got in Morgan Stanley around 130 or at 137.64, rolled up the option here around 140.65, and it's continuing to push higher. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, if we get to around 143, I would look to roll again. So like I say, we're going to fill out my trading plan here, and we're going to do this live together. And then we'll look at some new ideas for you as well. So I'm going to copy this one. Then we're going to start working this. No, copy, select all. No. Here we go. Select all. There we go. Copy, paste it here. Now, before I tag everyone, let's go through it step by step. So plan for the day. Today is the 2nd. And so this is what you need to be doing with your trades as well. Open the platforms, open your charts, open OVTLYR, and take a look. Do you need to do anything today? I don't know. But it's really easy when you have your plan to know exactly what you're looking for. So no OVTLYR U today. So we're going to take this off. And I'm just going to put, I'm traveling today. If I need to close anything, the Discord post is going to be delayed. Okay. Next, we have bullish market trend, bullish market breadth, bullish market trend, and then a SPY is still on the buy signal. So now let's work on our existing trades. We got out of Celsius yesterday, and we're still holding Morgan Stanley. So let's drop these to 2s. Okay, Morgan Stanley. We'll look to roll if it closes around 143. My note from yesterday still stands. If it gets up to 143, I'll look to roll it. If I roll it, let's go ahead and plan that out now. If I roll it, which strikes am I in right now? I don't even remember. I got to open my broker and look. Hold tight. Okay, Morgan Stanley. I am in the 135s. So if I roll it, I would have to sell to close the 135s and then buy to open something closer to the money. Looking at this one here, 140 has too much extrinsic value, 322 over 485. So if I roll it, it would probably be to the 138s. And by then, the extrinsic value would have come down. So that would be my plan, rolling from the 135 to the 138s. Rolled once already, would be rolling from 135s to 138s. And let's put on there the expiration date. Okay, so listen, by doing this, by creating this plan, I don't have to stress about it. So Morgan Stanley is going to be a hold. And then let's look at the heat map values on this one. Heat map on Morgan Stanley. We need to pop in the dashboard. NVIDIA and Katos. I'm pretty sure I sent that out yesterday. If I didn't, that was on me. KTOS, we closed that at 2:55 p.m. NVIDIA, we closed. Celsius, Capital One. Oh, maybe I forgot to send that alert out. I thought I did, though. That's on me. I really thought I did. Okay. 6:30. Oh, that wasn't yesterday. Hold tight. There it is. That's when I closed NVIDIA. That's when I closed KTOS. That's when I closed Celsius. So those alerts did go out yesterday. All right. Heat map continues to rise on Morgan Stanley. Let's take a look. All right. So look at this. Heat map has now gone from 59 up to 62.41. My note was exiting at 63. 62.41 is close to 63, but it's not 63 yet. I'm not going to change my plan. So 62.41. Heat map continues to rise, now 62.41. Target to exit is 63. What is this measuring right here? This is measuring the fear and the greed in this particular stock. Okay. The heat map value has risen from where we got in and is continuing to rise, getting more and more greedy. So we're going to leave that. And then the planned exit point. Planned exit point means this is the point of maximum risk that I'm willing to tolerate. Maximum risk that I'm willing to tolerate is going to be the prior day low. So that would be here, my note here, close below the prior day's low once it's rolled. Once it's rolled. So Morgan Stanley, we rolled it. The prior day low is slightly below here. Now, here's a rule I got from Larry Hite. Larry Hite was was the very first $1 billion hedge fund manager, one of my mentors, and one of the market wizards. That's what I was trying to say. Even though this is slightly below, right? So this prior day's low was 135.50, 139.55. This prior day low is 139.47. Yeah. So from 55 cents to 47 cents here. I'm not going to move it down. You are never allowed. This is what Larry said. You are never allowed to move down a stop. They can only be moved up. So I'm not going to change that. So what I'm going to write here is prior day low is still at 139.55. I'm going to put from 2 days ago. There we go. So it's clear as crystal. Next, let's go to KKR. Let's pop this open. Let's go to the KKR chart. Looking at this, exactly another point, right? Would you actually move your stop down here? No way. No way. Dana has that exact question. On your chart for KKR, the exit is a priority low. At end of day today, if it's still up, I assume you leave it at the low from 2 days ago. Yes. You're never allowed ever to move down your stop. If you have said, this is my plan to get out when this happens, you can't go back from that. You can't go back from that. So we're going to leave it at that same spot, which was 132.20. Now let's look at KKR's dashboard here. We can see it continues to get more greedy. It's at 55.43. My plan was to exit at 63. So won't be changing that, but we are going to say we'll look to roll around 136. If it does get up that high, it's not yet. That's okay. Heat map continues to rise now at 55.43. Target's still 63. The planned exit point is not going to change. We're going to copy this note down here. Great question, Dana. And we're going to make this number 3 because somebody's going to go in and be like, oh, Chris, you didn't update the numbers. Is that right? Are we missing something? No, I just didn't update the numbers. Jeez, give me a break. I am human. Let's go to Capital One. Capital One. Okay. A similar example here. The low from the next day is slightly lower than the day before, so we're going to leave it. Heat map exit at 62 on Capital One, or 72. Blame it on the brew. I know. Okay. Gabor Pap says, thanks, Chris. Are you closing during the day when it hits your stop? No. These are end of day exits. I don't see any of these that are going to run into a emergency exit today. So these are end of day exits. So continues to get more and more greedy. That's what we're looking for. Today's greed value is at 68.44. And we said on Capital when we get out at 72. So we're going to update this. We're still going to roll there, 68.44. It's a heat map. Target 72. Planned exit point will continue to be from 2 days ago, which is at 211.68. 211.68. 2 days ago. Okay. SMTC we closed. Hang on. And update my numbers here. SMTC we closed yesterday. Frog we closed yesterday. PayPal we're still holding, and we rolled this one yesterday. Nvidia we closed yesterday. Paytos we closed yesterday. Okay. So we only have one more to look at in our existing trades. PayPal. Hold tight. Hold. Let's look at PayPal. EYPL. If you do options, is it best to have a short or long expiration date? My starting point is 21 days to expiration. Now, you can't always hit 21 days, of course. So I'll look as close as I can. So if we go on the options chain here for, we'll do Morgan Stanley because we were on that earlier. 16 days to expiration fits right at that point because when I got in it, it was closer to 21. Now, I would look for one longer. Actually, I would rather, if I were putting on a brand new trade, I would go for this one here, 23 days. I would look for one longer and I would look for one shorter for liquidity. If I can't get filled in any one of these three, I'm probably going to just abandon that stock and move on to the next one. But of course, you need to figure out what works for you and your plan. Okay, looking at PayPal, the heat map continues to rise. It's now at 61.98 on PayPal, 61.98, 61.98. My target is 63. We're not going to change that right now. Let's go look on PayPal's chart. We do need to move up. Actually, which is higher, the 73.75 or 73.80? Prior day low is slightly higher at 73.80. So that's where we have less risk. So this is going to be prior day low. And this is 73.80. So if it closes below 73.80, I'm out. Look to close, roll. Okay, planned exit point. Let's do this. Prior day low, 73.80. And then we need to change these here to 5. Right. Now, doesn't this give you, by doing this, right, it gives me so much chill. It gives me so much confidence. It gives me so much freedom, right? Discipline is freedom. That's a Jocko Willink quote. Discipline is freedom because now I can go and do whatever I want to do because I had the discipline to know exactly where I'm going to get out, exactly what moves I need to make today, if I need to make any moves today. Right? This makes easy pickings. Easy pickings. Friday low 73.80. Heat map continues to rise. I double check that note. Now we're looking to 77. Look to roll if it goes up to 77. So that's the plan. Rolled once already. Let's add that to it. Okay, cool. So if we need to roll these, let's go make our notes on rolling them. We did that on Morgan Stanley. Let's go ahead and do it for the other three, just so there's no chance that we won't know what to do. PayPal rolling up from PayPal yesterday. We got in on the 70 strike is what we rolled to on the July 18th. So we'd be looking to roll from the 70 strike to maybe the 72 and a half. Looks like it would be pretty good. Extrinsic value is still in line with what I want to see. Open interest is good. So we'll be rolling from the 70 to the 72 and a half is what we would do later. We're not doing anything right now. We'd be rolling from the 70s, from the 70s to 72 and a half. Okay, let's do capital one. If we need to roll it, when it gets up to 218, I'm in capital ones. That's weird. I'm in capital ones 200 calls. 200 calls on this expiration. For some reason, there's 2 inside of Tradier, but you're going for the one with more liquidity. So moving from the 200 strike. Ooh, not a lot of liquidity here. Really not. I don't think I'd be rolling up to the 210. That's way more than extrinsic value that I'm willing to take. There's just not enough. I like to see over 250 on my open interest, and I do not see that. So, okay, here's what we would do. We would do like a phantom roll. Let me explain what I mean by phantom roll. In fact, somebody in the Discord mentioned this yesterday, and it's so smart, and it is something that I've done in the past, and we'll do that here. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by phantom roll. Look to roll, that's this already, but this is going to be phantom roll. So here's the deal. Somebody's going to ask on Discord, what is a phantom roll? You're going to tell them. Okay. If someone asks on Discord, what is a phantom roll? You're going to tell them. If it reaches and close over 218, because we don't see enough liquidity to actually see the roll, what we're going to do is move up the half ATR point to here. That's the only thing we're doing because we cannot roll for liquidity reasons. We're going to move our planned exit point to be half an ATR below 218. So let's go ahead and do that math real quick. So the ATR value is 471. So 4.71 divided by 2. The 235 under 218 minus 218.04 is 215.68. So we're going to add a note on here. Oh, geez, hang on. I don't know if I meant to do that. No, go away. Okay. My Backblaze. Backblaze is a really nice service that backs up all my PC. It was just doing something all at once. Phantom roll, moving up the half ATR to 215.68, but not actually rolling because liquidity isn't there. Now, the reason we're doing that is because we still want to structure the trade as if we rolled it. We still want to be aggressive as getting out of the trade. But if we can't roll it, what do we need to do? We need to do the phantom roll. Does that make sense? Everybody type the word phantom in the chat if this makes sense. PHANTOM. Type phantom in the chat if this makes sense. Okay, Capital One Finance, phantom roll. Charlotte says she's going to write that into her trading plan. The phantom roll when I have shares or spread bet rather than options. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, people are understanding the phantom roll, what that means. Phantom of the opera roll. Jay, what's up, dude? Good to see you, my friend. Okay, everybody's got the phantom. We understand what we're doing here. Okay, cool. And we already got that phantom roll is not going to actually happen. Let me type that correctly. KKR. Let's do KKR. If KKR gets up to 136.02, 136 area, KKR. Okay, Jonathan, we're going to get really specific here. Do you move the half ATR after roll to half ATR from the 1 ATR point? Or half ATR from the rolling point? From the rolling point. So let's say, for example, if KKR does something awesome today, that would be so sick if KKR does this and pops way up here to, let's just give this a different color line. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that one well either. Let's do this line. No, let's do this line. That'll work. Hopefully it pops way up here, right? If it does pop way up here, I will move the half ATR from that point down rather than here, okay? Because we want to be really aggressive. We want to keep all those profits. We don't want the profits to turn around and evaporate, right? Never let a good trade, a good winning trade turn into a loser. So we would take the half ATR from that point. That point. Great question. Okay, so let's go into KKR's options chain. We're here. I own the 125s. So I'd be looking to close the 125s. And buying to open. Oof, another one that doesn't have a lot of liquidity here. Doesn't have a lot of liquidity. I doubt we could get up to the 130s from there and still keep a good amount of extrinsic value or a low amount of extrinsic value. So this would also be a phantom roll. This would also be a phantom roll. Same ATR or current ATR. Here's the deal. When I put on the trade, I calculate the 1 and 2 ATR points from there. If we need a third ATR point, I'm going to just calculate on what it is today, right? What it is today is 343. What it was today, or the day that I put on was at 358. It's negligible, right? We're talking pennies here. And because of that, I really don't look to calculate the new ATR point on a daily basis. Some people do. You can do that if you want to. It's just not something I feel is necessary to do. Okay, so we're going to phantom roll this as well. So let's do the math. Current ATR is 342 divided by 2. So $1.71. $1.71 for 136.02, which is the rolling point. 36.02. 134.31. 134.31. And roll, moving half ATR to 134.31. Okay. Does everybody make sense? These are the trades that I will make going down. It's basically either roll or close. That's it. Rolling or closing. Do you have any questions before we move on to the next new setup ideas? If you have a question, do hashtag Q in the chat with your question. Actually, do this. I already have it. Put a hashtag Q in the chat with your question. If not, what I'd like you to do is type, let's type monkey. Okay. If you understand the plan, type monkey in the chat. If you have questions, put a hashtag Q in the chat. I would love to answer your questions as we go. Okay. David has a question. Would you phantom roll from the high of the day or from the 3 o'clock price? From the 3 o'clock price. From 3 o'clock price, my friend. Outstanding. Okay. Lots of monkeys coming through. Very cool. We No FOMO says phantom roll only happen on rolled options, or can it be for a fresh option? If you put on a trade, my stop is always at half an ATR below. That is always and will forever be my stop out point. So in theory, all we're doing is essentially setting that new stop out point. Does that make sense? All we're doing is setting that new stop out point. Why not out to July 25th if there is open interest? I'm just trying to stay in my options chain right now. If I need to roll out, that comes later. That comes later when I get closer to expiration. I'll show you that slide here. Here, 1 week before expiration, right? If expiration is next Friday, the Friday previous to that, I'm looking to roll out, right? But not until that point. Do you roll further out? Absolutely. But once I need to. Until then, I don't. So if you roll, does it mean you're holding for a long weekend? Yes. Absolutely. Monkey emoji. Perfect. Steve says, when reviewing possible trades using TradingView, you color code those stocks that have order blocks. Why not delete them from the list? You revisit those at all? So what I do, Steve, is once I've figured out what I need to do, you can actually come through here and right click on the list and unflag all symbols in the system. Then you can go through, and it just makes it really easy, because then, for me, I like to color code it. If it's sitting in an order block, I'll make it purple. That way I know I don't have to come back to it. Or I'll even just delete it off the list so I don't have to come back to it. Do you use the prior day's low with the phantom roll? Yes. But in this case here, so in KKR, we can see right here. If it closes up here, and I would love if it does, if it closes up here, that prior day's low is going to be significantly lower than the half ATR, and we're always looking to find that lowest risk point. King Arthur, did you remove the half ATR stop that was listed? Someone may need that. I don't think I did. Heatmap. No, the planned exit point is still there. I'm just adding the phantom roll information. Dude, I wish so bad I had taken STX. Look at this chart on STX. It was between STX and KTOS. I chose the wrong one. Good gravy. This is the most beautiful chart I have ever seen. Regrets abound. This is the one I should have taken and not KTOS. But here's the deal, right? We, myself included, only have so much capital, right? Nobody has unlimited funds. So there are times where you have to pick one versus another. I chose the wrong one in that case and ended up with a losing trade. But I still followed my plan, and that's what matters. Does this mean I have to hold over the weekend? Paul, my friend, you do you. You do you. If you choose to, do it. If you don't choose to, don't do it. That's your call, my friend. Steve and One Star Gaming, everybody is telling me how awesome they are because they took the trade. Is it too late for STX then? So I only look at it today or 1 day previous signal. Maybe STX will come through. But I won't be taking it because I'm not going to add any new trades today. Conan the Barbarian says, there was a debate yesterday between members. When do we close intraday for an emergency? Okay, so Conan, that is up to you, my friend. Like, anytime somebody asks me, hey, what should I do? What should I do? Well, my first answer is always, and this is not specifically to you, Conan, this is for everybody. And you've seen me do this before. It's like, what is your plan? What did you plan to do? Right. We feel more confidence when you take a trade with us as mentor, considering taking one trade with us. Consider it. I won't consider it because that will break my trading plan today. I only trade at the end of the day. I only trade at the end of the day. But looking at that question here, emergency exits. One emergency exit, let's see if we can find one real quick, is if a stock runs up into an order block. If it does, then I have an emergency exit there. The other emergency exit, I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, is if I've missed my planned exit point. If for some reason it closed lower than my planned exit point that day and I missed it, the next day on the low of that day is an emergency exit. Now, if you want these slides, they're in our Discord. I would go and start rifling through these slides, getting familiar with them. And we also have them numbered. So this is section 5.2 for emergencies is section 5. Section 4 is putting on new trades. Try and make it easier. Question. The other day, video presenter was showing option chains. Way cool to show the same ticker of the stock and the option UR and the percentage growth difference. Sounds cool. I don't know specifically what you're talking about. Okay, so Cassandra says, I wish I had gotten out of Kato so much earlier in the day. Man, there's all kinds of things that I could wish for, right? I could wish that the mailman shows up with $1 million check, right? I could wish for every morning a fresh Dutch rose handed to me when I wake up, right? We can always wish and hope and pray, or we can follow our plan. Okay. So Cassandra, in that case, if you need to trade out earlier in the day, I would say make that part of your plan. You don't have to follow the trades I do. I mean, everybody can do whatever they want, right? That's one of the trading in the zone tenets is that you have unlimited opportunities every single day in the market. And with those unlimited opportunities, you can do an unlimited number of choices with those trades. So if you need to set a different rule during the day, Cassandra, I would encourage you to do so. Mikey Mike says, what's the purpose of the phantom roll if you're not taking profit? The purpose of the phantom roll is to take profit. The purpose of the phantom roll is I can't get enough liquidity to make the trade happen with the roll. So I'm essentially pretending I rolled it and moving up that half ATR to be aggressive on the exit. Okay, let's move on. Dude, like Christopher and I agree, right? We both wish for that mailman to show up. Maybe one day, Christopher, maybe one day. Okay, the next step here is what are the sectors telling us, right? Actually, real quick, you're probably wondering at this point, what is OVTLYR and how does it work? Well, old Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. OVTLYR shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the OVTLYR move happens. Now, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, it's just 3 easy, itty-bitty baby steps. Step 1, head over to OVTLYR.com, pick up the annual pass for just 82 cents a day. Or if you're on the monthly plan, you can upgrade with one click and save 64% off the regular monthly price. Step 2, start using the OVTLYR 9, which I'm showing you as we go through this, right? And then step 3, sit back and relax because you just found the easiest way to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So what are the sectors telling us, right? We want to look at the sectors and find the fear and greed and the breadth of all the sectors. So we have an idea if the sector is aligned with the market. So the way that I would do this is, number 1, pop over into the market breadth tab. We're going to do that right now. Looking over here, market breadth is saying everything is bullish with the exception of energy. So that makes life a lot easier, right? Only the energy sector is not bullish. We'll move on and run the screener. Now, I have my screener built as a template. So if we go to screener, and I'm going to reset the filter. And then we are going to hit the bullish screener that I've saved. And you'll see my results right here. And of course, you can apply these if you choose to. All right. So Cassandra is letting everybody know that STX and UBS were the two that she was not interested in on my list. And those two did the best. Instead, she chose the 2 losers from my list. Sounds like, Cassandra, you need to adjust your plan. I agree. Don't take any trade. Cassandra, don't take any trades that I put on at this point. Definitely don't do that. I mean, I'm only up 40 something percent on the year. I definitely wouldn't take any trades ever that I put on at this point. Definitely. Good choice. I like that. Looking at this, outlier bullish scanner here. Outlier signal return, positive only, greater than 1 million shares average daily volume with a buy signal. And then the market cap is basically wide open. I don't care what the market cap is. The price range over $20. The fear and greed heat map, I want to go from 0 to 90. Then I want to see the heat map, the fear and greed heat map we just talked about, moving up with the green overlay indicator, So looking at this, we get quite a few, right? We've got July 2nd, that's today, and July 1st, that was yesterday. Good gravy, there's a lot. Okay, down to there. So what we're going to do is, in fact, I need to pull up a spreadsheet. Now, this is how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. In fact, I would encourage you to figure out what works best for you. But Chris has a little spreadsheet. And what I do is I just copy these from today and yesterday. And then I put them over here. And then, like I say, you do you, figure out what works best for you. But I'm just telling you, this is how I do it. And we're going to do only the bullish sectors. And then I'm going to copy this. You'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. I'm going to drop it over here. And then I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to sort this by the largest to smallest. There we go. Okay. So I did quite a few steps all in a row. I took my scanner results and I put them in Excel. Then I'm going to pick one stock from each sector and make sure that the sector greed is increasing in the bull market, right? So we're going to pop in a few. I'm really confident that they are, but we can look at some like healthcare, discretionary, financials, materials, communications, materials and staples. Energy we know is bearish. Industrials, did we do that one? Or I can't remember. We've not done industrials, so we'll do that one. Real estate and anything else? Materials, healthcare, tech, discretionary. I'm pretty sure we already did discretionary. Okay, now the reason that I did this is I'm looking at this value right here in the fear and greed on the sector. Is the average fear and greed score going up or the average fear and greed score going down in that sector? So looking at, this is the healthcare sector, 5310 up to 5341. So healthcare looks good. This is the discretionary sector, also moving up. That one's a lot more obvious. This is the financials moving up. That's obvious. The material sector went from 5740 to 5770. Remember, this is the average fear and greed score for everybody in the material sector. So it's this value on average in the sector. And the constituent heat map going from 59 to 60 in the communications. Materials is moving up. Staples is also moving up. It was going down, but now it's moving back up. Industrials is good. I'm pretty sure we got them all at this point. Real estate's going up slightly. And tech is also going up slightly. Okay, cool. So that's everything we need to know here. So all the sectors that we have that are bullish in breadth are also bullish in fear and greed. So we're not going to have to rerun that. So we've got our sectors lined up. All of the stocks that I have right now pulled have bullish fear and greed in the sector and bullish fear and greed in breadth. We know this for a fact. Let's go next to what are the stocks telling us? What are the individual stocks telling us? We're going to look at the trend, the signal, the fear and greed, and the outlier blocks for the stock. So the stocks that are left are the best stocks in the market as of today. Look at the buy signals from today and yesterday only, which we did a moment ago in the screener. And then we need to review the charts. Now there's a buttload of charts, right? How many is this? How many is this? There's 47 between yesterday and today. Ain't nobody got time for that. So here's what I'm going to do. I sorted these by the outlier backtested returns. So I'm going to copy them. I'm only going to copy a handful. And I'm going to put them over in TradingView on a new list. I'm going to clear my prior list and then do this. And we're just going to go through these handful, and we're looking for a handful of things here on the charts. No outlier blocks is a big one. No earnings, prices above the 10 EMA, and that's above the prior day low. Now, this will change by the end of the day, right? I'm looking at this at 9:21 a.m. Central Time. By the end of the day, these could be different. By the end of the day, these could be different. And because they could be different, we want to make sure that we are only trading at the end of the day. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a trade early on in the morning, then by the end of the day, it looks pretty bad. I'm not interested in that. Not interested in that. So this is why I always wait till the end of the day. In fact, Palantir is a perfect example. Palantir is an exact perfect example because on this date, on this Friday morning, it actually got a buy signal. If you had taken the signal Friday morning, which you shouldn't have because the fear and greed was declining, it was already inside of an order block. There was no reason to take that trade. But had you taken it by the end of the day, it would have been a really bad disaster. Okay. Then we got a sell signal immediately after that. But we had everything else, right? Outlier line was not set up for Palantir on that day. So you wouldn't want to take it. However, looking at these this morning, something like this could happen, right? Remember to always be trading risk first. At the end of the day, we don't know what the price will be. So I've belabored that point enough. Here, looking at CLDX, CLDX, it's not above the prior day, or it's not below the prior day's low. It's above the 10 EMA. What I want to measure up is this. How far away is it from an order block? It's 5%. So that one actually looks good. My limit is 2%. Interactive brokers, one that I looked at yesterday. I didn't take any new trades today, unfortunately, but that would have been a great one so far. Interactive brokers looks brilliant. First Solar, this is too close to this order block. Oh, it's actually 3.8%. You've got some room there. Carvana, inside of an order block. So in this case, Steve was asking earlier about colors. I'm just going to delete that guy. I don't even want to see it again. A, inside an order block. Fast, inside an order block. IQV, looking good so far. DLTR, looking good so far. RTX, formerly Raytheon, where I used to work. Order block, too close for me. I would delete that. AI, maybe. 4.5%. Okay. Google, we've got some room up here. Plenty of room there. CE, that looks all right. TDC, order block. SW, order block. Right. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Within 7 to 8 trades, I would be in my entire portfolio. So we're going to go and focus on just those 8. So that was CLDX, Interactive Brokers, First Solar, and then delete down to IQV, DLTR, AI, Google, and CE. Okay, cool. So now we're working our plan here. So these are the ones that I would be looking at for the options chains, maxing out at CE. So I'm going to delete everything below CE. Now, going into the option chain, we're going to work through this. CLDX. CLDX. There's no options here. Nobody's playing. I don't want that one. It will be deleted. Interactive Brokers, IBKR. This one, this is the July 18th strike, or July 18th expiration. What I want to see, I'm just glancing at it quickly, so let me explain what I'm looking for. We're starting with the highest backtest and working our way down. We've confirmed Outlier 9 is set up on everything. I'm starting at 21 days to expiration with 250 plus open interest, less than 50-cent bid-ask spread, 20% or less extrinsic value, generally around the 80 delta. Look at that. A lot of our traders are already rolling IBKR. Awesome. Another trade, unfortunately, I wish I had taken, but I didn't. It is what it is. Expiration on Interactive Brokers, July 18th. So the 79 delta is at 52.50. 79 delta. The 52.50 strike. And then the extrinsic and the call price is 88 cents over 620. So that has 14% extrinsic value. That one I would be really interested in taking today if I were putting on new trades. Let's do First Solar, FSLR. July 18th. Like I said, actually, I would rather go July 25th on this one. That feels better, but there's no one there. Okay, remember, 21 days. But if there's no one there, I'll look one later, and I'll look one earlier. If we go one later, not much going on here either. If we go one earlier, way more liquidity. Do we see the difference here? Right? 10s, I mean, this is the only one even over 100. Go to August. There's 2 strikes over 100. If we go to July 18th, that's where everybody's at. That's the one we want to trade on. Right? We want the liquidity. So generally around 80 delta puts me around here. So the 80 delta is at 41 open interest. But you look, 82 delta, 6,000. 75 delta, 4,000. I would rather do either one of those. So if we go over here, look at this problem though. This is $1.40 wide. I don't know if it's going to stay at $1.40 wide. I'm not interested in that. This one's nearly $2 wide. I'm not interested in that. So I wouldn't trade FSLR for that exact reason. The liquidity is not tight enough for me to take the trade. So I would delete that. Let's go to IQV. This one's okay, especially we don't have a lot of options to choose from, but the 73 delta, the 155 strike, but unfortunately, it's over $2 wide here as well. I wouldn't take that trade. I wouldn't take that trade. Let's go DLTR. Okay. So 85 delta here, 86 delta. This is 60 cents wide. It might tighten up later on in the day, so I'll go ahead and type that one in. The 87 delta has 50 cents of extrinsic. Oh, no, I did it in the wrong spot. 17. The 87 delta has 50 cents of extrinsic. And it costs, yeah, see, it just tightened up right there, 40 cents, $8.50. And that was what strike? The 95 strike. All right, handful more. Let's do AI. All right, AI, let's start here on the 23rd. Not really a lot of open interest here. Not really here. Everybody's on July 18th. 87 delta looks good, and so does the 70 delta. Either one of those look really strong. If I were to pick between the two, I would probably go closer to the 72 delta. And let's work through that. So 72 delta. The extrinsic value is going to be 51 cents on $1.91, which is 27%. So it's a little bit rich. My absolute max, I will not take the trade, is 30% or greater. And that was on the 24 strike. So I would be interested in that one. But you could also go to the one above that and choose between either one of those. So like the 86 strike or 86 delta has 23 cents of extrinsic value. Let's do this here. $87 delta, 16 cents extrinsic value. Call price is 305 on the 22.5 strike. So either one of those is a decent choice. Is there a best choice? That's really up to you and your trading plan. If it were me, I would have gone for this one here. But I'll leave that out to you. Google. Hang on, my comments aren't uploading on my side. Yeah, this is the most recent comment I see on my side, but I see on the screen it's further on. Oh no, I guess it is. Either way, hang on. Let me turn this off, then turn it back on. Oh, the next comment should work. Okay. Let's do Google. July 23rd or 25th. Lots of open interest here. Not an issue. However, when I'm around the 80 delta, not so much, but it's okay. Like this one here, 590, 219 over. This one's about 50 cents wider here. I bet if I go here, there's better liquidity. Yeah. There's way more liquidity on this one than this one. So I would go with this one. 80 delta. Look at that, 20 cents wide right there. No problems. Or you could go one below there, the 75 delta. It's probably the one I would go for. Look at that open interest difference. So the 75 delta with $1.78 of extrinsic value. And then the call option price, 855 and the 170 strike. 855, 170 strike. Okay, 21. Yeah, that's exactly what I would go with. And let's do lastly CE. CE. This one's really sharp. This one's really good. Lots of open interest there. Extrinsic value is basically nothing. So this is also a potential 93 delta with 46 cents extrinsic. And 960 and the 50 strike. Cool. So that's 5% extrinsic. These would be the options I would be interested in taking today. Let me do this. And I'll just put this in the Discord. Over here. Okay, new setup ideas. See screenshot. But anything can happen by the end of the day. So, did the screenshot come through? I don't know if it came through. Copy. Paste. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is how Chris would have done his exact trading plan. In fact, this is Chris doing his exact trading plan. Let me add everyone to that so everybody gets tagged. Everyone. Okay. So we've gone through it. Of course, it took a while, right? It took a while. This is not meant to be a hobby. This is the greatest game in the entire world, and it can be the most lucrative thing you've ever done and create generational wealth for your family for all time. It'll take a little bit of time to get used to it. It'll take a little time to go through your processes. But now I can drive down the road and I know exactly where I'm going to get out if I need to get out. I know exactly where I'm going to roll if I need to roll. And if I were going to put on new trades, these are the ones that I would do. It makes it pretty easy, right? But of course, wait until the end of the day to get the confirmation on these signals, right? Cheryl says, I don't normally get to see this due to time, but wow, this was so educational. Thank you. Hood is popping. Hood is popping. Joe says in UBS 718, so he's in the UBS 718 3250 for $1 entry, $1.70 entry. It is above the 1 ATR, but there's no 17 strikes to hit. August strikes offer no credit. I intend to hold. Thoughts? Joe, I would do what we talked about earlier, the phantom roll. I would do the phantom roll, my friend. Because if you can't do the actual roll, the next best thing to do is act like you did and treat it as if you did, so you don't let any of those profits work against you. Mr. Boss says it was a great session. Thank you, Mr. Boss. What's the difference between Goog and Google? Does it play to invest in either one? They're basically the same. I think one of them is like preferred shares versus non-preferred shares or something like that. To me, they're in. I have no difference between the two. Whichever one is good, I'm going to go for it, or both. David says, I'm stoked. 3 of your picks were the same as mine. 2 had the same strike and expiration. David, dude, everybody pay respects to David in the chat. David, way to go, man. That is super, super cool. Right? Because if you are finding the same thing I am, right? We're digging in the same mine. We're Minecrafting together, right? And by Minecrafting together, we can see the same thing. Means that you are trading on the same level as a professional investor. So congratulations to you, David. Really, really proud of you. Oh, there you go. Goog has voting rights. That's it. It's not going to make any difference to you as a trader. Mikey Mike says, so much trading wisdom. Thanks, Chris. No, thank you, Mikey Mike. Mikey Mike, the market maker, right? Okay, so we covered a ton today. Like I say, I'm gonna be driving down the road. When I make these trades, if I make these trades, I will not be able to immediately update you in the Discord, but I'll do that later on in the day. Elsewise, I wish you the very best of luck today. I hope you have the most incredible, most big and beautiful July 4th ever. I know I will. And I will see you live back here on Monday. Otherwise, all these other videos that are going to come through, we just we have everything scheduled for the next couple days, so you shouldn't be without anything. Have a fantastic weekend and happy 4th of July, and we will talk soon.